Hello, good morning, investor and corporate. Welcome to Set Digital Roadshow third quarter 20 and 22 performance review. This section will run about 45 minutes, including Q&A. Company will start the section by 30-minute presentation, followed by 15-minute Q&A. And during Q&A, investor may leave your question in meeting room chat box or use raise your hand function. We will open your microphone so you can ask the question to the company directly. So may I now invite KRUNGTHAI Card Public Company Limited to start the presentation, please. Thank you very much.
Morning, everyone. Today we're going to have three persons, but the two, our CEO, Kurathian, and Kun Chutidet, our CFO, going to join us later. So I'm going to start with the presentation. And in the presentation, is going to answer most of your questions, but going to leave more time for, I'm going to touch up on the change in the third quarter, and then we're going to leave more time for the question and answer then. For the shareholder structure, you can see that it's quite the same. KTB is still holding us 49%. And we do have a lot of holding structure with other companies like Pico, Nano, Prepaid, and also the newest one, the KTB Leasing, that doing the leasing and high purchase business. It's just the business that we started up about a year ago. And it's going to be the next growth for KTC going forward. Currently it's still very small though. We hold about 75% and KTB hold 25%. And in the structure of the receivables, you can see that credit cards still the major contribution on the asset. It's about 65% credit card in receivable. Personal loan is about 32, and leasing is quite small. As I mentioned before, it's just the beginning that we do the business. And in terms of the revenue contribution, credit card contribute about 60%, and personal loan is about nearly 40% on the contribution of the revenue part. On the rules and regulations, quite the same from the year 2020 August that the BOT announced the new of the ceiling rate for credit card and personal loan. Credit card is 16%. That's the maximum that we can charge our customer. And it used to be with 18 and then jump to 20, and it's been the 20% for quite a long time, about 10 years. In the year 2017, it dropped to 18%. And during the COVID, we helped the customer, BOT, lower the rate to 16%, and it's 16% for starting from August to 2020. And in Thailand, there are no price war in terms of the credit card pricing. Everyone charging at 16%, the maximum that we can hold. And on personal loan, it's 25% maximum. It used to be 28, and the same in August 2020, it's dropped to 25%. So on the approval process, we adjust according to the risk appetite that we can take. So when the interest rate moves down, the ceiling rate is going down, we also adjust our credit scoring and the criteria to tighten to take all the people that we can take with the type the risks that we can get. And the auto title loan, as mentioned before, is just about a year and a half that we start this business. The maximum interest rate that we can charge on the auto title loan is 24%. On the high purchase, I have the different type of the interest rate that we can charge our customer. On the high purchase is under the KTBL leasing that doing this business. On the new car, we can charge at 10%. And on the used car is 15%. And for the motorcycle is 23% that maximum that we can charge. For the 9 months, that to see that the highlight of the 9 months, what we achieved, the portfolio growth about 11.5%. That's much better than the past 2 years during the COVID. The credit card portfolio growing about like 16.6. Personal loan after the 2-year negative growth now is grow about like 8% on personal loan receivables. The leasing drop about 41. That's because we take on the leasing that the whole portfolio is kind of like NPL, so it's dropped as the write-off that we keep writing on. And credit card spending growing about like 22.7%. The net interest margin is 12.4. We still focus on the portfolio quality. As you can see that the NPL is only like 2% and on the separate even lower to 1.8%. And NPL coverage still very high as we are very conservative with the provision that we set. The consolidated one is about 448% and the separate is 461%. All in all, we get a net profit for the 9-month period of 5.4 billion or 16% growth. And the revenue is about like 6.6% growth. And if we look further into the financial statement on the revenue part, you can see that for the total revenue, we grow about like 6.6 as mentioned before. And if you look into all the category recovery, fee income, interest income is almost up. The highest one is the fee income that go along with the credit card spending. That we get the fee from all the spending that the customer use our card, and that's go up about like 14.8% if you compare with the 9 months last year. And in the expense part, you can see that for the expense it's moved up about like 8%. Basically, the highest growth is on the marketing expense, as this year the marketing come back to quite normal. We have the credit card spending that's go higher than the year before the COVID after the 2 years drop. So the marketing expense during the 2 year of the COVID is quite minimal. So you can see that once we coming back and we use on the marketing campaign, you're gonna see the marketing expense going up. On the credit cards, you see that our credit cost is dropping. That's because we tighten the criteria as mentioned before, and we focus on the portfolio quality. We clean up the port all the times. So the credit cost is only like 4.6%. And if you look into the allowance to the expected credit loss, you're gonna see that it's about like 8.9%. NPL coverage, as mentioned before, is over 400%. This presentation talking about the funding that we have. If you look into the funding part, out of the 57 billion portfolio of the borrowing portfolio, you see that the long-term borrowing is about like 82%. We usually have the long-term to proportion of long-term to short-term is about like 80 to 20%. And all the long-term that we have mostly is the bond that we issue. We have the long-term borrowing, some part, small part, and the majority is the bond that we issue to the banks, institutions, asset management, and also the public, you name it. And the range duration is from 2 years up to 10 years. Average duration is about like 3.5 years of the long term. That's how we can stabilize the cost of fund. You see that the cost of fund for KTC is only like 2.4%. And we got a lot of questions about the interest going up, moving forward for the next year is kind of like upward trend. How we gonna maintain the low cost of fund? That if you look into the maturity profile on the left hand corner, you're gonna see that it's spread out for the 10 years period, and then so we can replace the bond that's due is basically is about like next year, for example, is 5 billion, right? And we have the option of the duration that we can choose during the upward trend. We can shorten the duration instead of have been issued the 10 years bond, we can do the 5 years in order to maintain the cost of fund in the lower rate. So obviously the interest rate upward trend gonna affect us, but it's not gonna hit us as bad as it's supposed to be in terms of the interest rate going up. We also have the rating of AA minus by TRIS, and we have the credit line of 33 billion with all the banks, name it. Out of that, 14 billion come from KTB. So we don't have the liquidity risk in terms of the credit line that we can use. All the bonds that we issue at DE ratio, the covenants at DE ratio number than 10 times. Currently, the DE is only 2.14, so we can increase the portfolio without having to tap to the new equity. And on the profitability ratio, you can see that the NIM is the cost of fund is 2.4, and the yield is about like nearly 15%, and the net interest margin is about like 12.4. is quite stable since the interest rate that we can charge is capped. The ROE is around like 25%, and the ROA is about like 8%. On the dividend, we pay at least 40% of the dividend. So on the average, as you see from the presentation, is round number is about like 41% that we pay the dividend every year. Now looking to the business that we have, the majority of the portfolio, as mentioned before, is the credit card. So you can see the penetration rate on credit card in Thailand is about like 20% that people using credit card for this year. It used to be about like 23.6% in the year 2019 before the COVID hit. And during the 2 year of COVID, it's dropped to about like 90%. So now it's moving back up. So we expect it to be the number before the COVID time. So it should go up again to the 23-22%. And market share that we have, you see that the credit card portfolio, we have the market share around 12%. And on the number of cards, we have market share of 10. And the spending is 11.8% market share that we have. The portfolio growth, as mentioned, is 16.6%, and the industry grow about like nearly 30%. And portfolio quality, we talked about that before. KTC is 1.2% on the NPL on credit card alone. And if you look into the industry, it's 2.1%. The spending we go along with the industry, the number is quite the same. 22.7% for KTC and 23.9% for the industry. Acquisition channel is, you can see that we have various acquisition channel to get the new application to us, but all the approval process is in-house in the KTC. KTB generate about like 32% of the new application that they bring into KTC. The direct sale and telesale is another 37%. And we also have our own branches that generate about 5%. And another big chunk is the marketing events and the project with the partner. That's about like 24%. On personal loan, acquisition channel is a little bit different. Majority is came from the direct sale and telesale. That's about like 60%, and KTB is only like 28%. And the market share on the personal loan, we quite small in this part. We only have 4% market share. The portfolio growth, as mentioned before, that is about like 8% growth, and industry is about 21.4%. That's including the card title deed lending on the personal loan portfolio as well. But for KTC, we just started card title deed lending about a year ago, so it's quite small. And portfolio quality, you can see that NPL is only like 3% compared to industry of about 3.7%. if we compare with the target that we give out last year at the end of last year, we target that the net profit not going to be lower than the year before, the year 2021, which is about like 6.2 billion. For the 9 months, we already have 5.4, so we quite sure that we're gonna achieve on the net profit. The portfolio we target 100 billion portfolio currently is about 97. So the last quarter is usually seasoning is the spending quarter. So this one it should tick the box as well. And the personal loan we target 7% and currently is 7.9 on about like 8%. So we achieve this one. The one that we missed is the portfolio on the car title deed lending, or we call KTC P-BUM. We target at the beginning of the year about like 11.5 billion, but we should end the year about like 1 billion. So we have to try hard on this one. The portfolio quality, we target that the same as the year before, which is about like 3.6%. Currently, it's only like 2%. So this one is the focus for us for the portfolio quality as we see from the numbers. Credit card spending growth, we target 10%. And actually, as we go along the year, we in-house, we target 15%. But the reporting number is 22.7%. So this one is quite nicely achieved. And target for the year 2023, the same, we target the net profit keep growing. So the net profit for the year 2023 not going to be lower than the year end this year that we're going to have. Portfolio growth, we target 15%. Credit card spending growth is 10% in the base is quite large now. Personal loan portfolio, we target 7% growth. P-BUM is 9 billion. That's what we target for the next year to achieve it. And KTBL leasing, new booking, we target 3 billion. And NPL is going to be not higher than this year end. That's you should see the number reporting in the beginning of the year in January. So that's the next one is the ESG or sustainability. You can see that we use the GRI standard in terms of doing the SD for the KTC. We also having the ISO, two of them, ISO 27701 and 27701, and that's on the securities, information security. And on the international standard, we updated the MSCI ESG rating to AA since the 2021, and we still on the AA rating. And we are in the FTSE4Good index since 2021 as well, and we are on the name list of the sustainability yearbook of the S&P Global. And for in Thailand, we also are in the SET THSI index since the year 2020. We have the 5-star on the Excellence CG rating from the Institution of Directors Association, and we are in the ESG 100 of the SET, and also we are member of the anti-corruption. So we are focused on the ESG embedded in our process of the work in KTC as well. So that's kind of like wrap up the presentation.
Okay, the session has come to an end. So on behalf of the Stock Exchange of Thailand, I would like to thank you, investor and corporate, for joining the conference. We look forward to welcome you all again in the next quarter. Thank you very much and have a good day. ขอบคุณค่ะท่านผู้บริหาร
โอเคครับ